Okay, what is the single hardest choice an NFL GM has to make? Seriously, is it deciding who to take with the number one pick? Maybe. Is it figuring out who to cut right before the season starts? That's got to be tough. But for Chris Ballard, the general manager of the Indianapolis Colts, the toughest decision is staring him right in the face. And it's one that could either set his team up for a decade of dominance, or, and this is the scary part, get them stuck on that dreaded treadmill of mediocrity, that state of just constantly rebuilding. In this explainer, we are going to break down this incredibly high-stakes choice facing the Colts front office. We're going to look at two completely different roads they could go down, roads that could totally change the future of this team. Welcome to NFL Nexus. Let's get right into it.
Everything, and I mean everything, starts with this quote right here. The owner of the Colts, Carly Gordon, and the entire Irsay family are known for being very involved. They don't hide their feelings. So when she comes out and says the sense of urgency has never been higher, you better believe that is not just some casual comment. That's a directive. It's a public, direct order to GM Chris Ballard and head coach Shane Steichen. That statement echoes through the halls of that facility. It means win, and win now. Everyone in that building, from the top down, knows their job security is tied to the season. Every single move they make is going to be scrutinized under the brightest lights imaginable. This one quote right here sets the stage for an absolutely pressure-packed offseason. The stakes? They couldn't be higher.
All right, so here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to really try to get inside the minds of the Colts front office. First, we'll lay out exactly where they're at, this huge crossroads they're facing. Then, we're going to explore the two very different paths in front of them. Path 1 is the patient, long-term approach of drafting for the future. Path 2 is the aggressive, all-in move to win right now. And finally, we'll wrap it all up by looking at this monumental choice that is truly going to define this franchise for years to come.
So we've got the lay of the land, right? We understand the pressure cooker environment that they're operating in over there in Indianapolis. So now let's really zoom in on the absolute heart of this whole thing. The Colts' entire offseason, their whole philosophy, really hinges on one single critical decision. This is the spot, right here, where two totally competing ideas, building patiently for tomorrow versus going for broke and winning today, are about to have a head-on collision.
And this is it. Pick number 47. Now, I know what you might be thinking. It's a second-round pick. What's the big deal? But for the Colts this year, this pick is literally everything. Remember, they made that huge blockbuster move to trade their first-round pick to get Sauce Gardner, who is without a doubt one of the best cornerbacks in the entire league. That trade wasn't just a whisper, it was a scream to the rest of the NFL that they are trying to win now. But it came at a massive cost. No pick on day one of the draft. And that is precisely why pick number 47 carries so much weight. It's their first shot, it's their best piece of draft capital, and what they do with it is going to send a crystal clear message about what their real priority is for 2026 and beyond.
So let's walk down the first path. This is the one that takes discipline, it takes patience, and a whole lot of forward thinking. This is not the path for instant gratification, not at all. This is the path of the master architect, the GM who is carefully, piece by piece, laying the foundation for a dynasty that can last. It's all about building a team that's not just a flash in the pan for one season, but one that can compete for a championship year after year after year. It's about creating sustainable success.
And if you're looking for the poster child for this long-term, build-it-right strategy, look no further than Caleb Banks. This guy is a dominant, game-wrecking defensive tackle out of Florida. In a recent ESPN mock draft, the expert Field Yates penciled him in as the Colts pick. And when you start digging into the why, it makes a ton of sense. Banks is a physical freak of nature, with the real, legitimate potential to be a cornerstone of this defense for the next 10 years. He's a pure, uncut investment in the future of the franchise. Okay, let's just take a second and really break down these numbers, because they are absolutely absurd. A 504 40-yard dash for a man who is 6'6" and weighs 327 pounds. That's almost impossible. It's like a freight train that has the get-off of a sports car. And a 32-inch vertical at that size, that's the kind of explosive raw power that lets you just physically overwhelm grown men in the NFL. These aren't just numbers on a page, they tell a story. They paint a picture of the kind of disruptive, pocket-collapsing force he can become. The guy's a lab-created athlete, truly a rare specimen. And this right here, this is what makes a pick like Banks so smart, so strategic. We all know it. Football games are won and lost in the trenches. A dominant defensive line can completely destroy an offense's game plan. The Colts have a fantastic duo right now in DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart. But look at the ages, 31 and 32. Father Time is undefeated in the NFL, and they are on the back nine of their amazing careers. Drafting a guy like Banks would be an incredibly savvy move. You bring him in, let him learn from two of the best in the business for a year or two, and then he's ready to take the torch. It's about planning for tomorrow so you don't have a massive hole in your roster later.
So, to put a bow on it, drafting Caleb Banks is the definition of a long-term investment. You're not doing this because you think he's going to get you 10 sacks as a rookie. You're doing this because you're planting a tree today that's going to provide shade for your entire organization for years and years. This is the move where you sacrifice that immediate, flashy reward for the promise of a much brighter, more stable future. It's the responsible play. It's the patient play.
But, here's the big but. What if the Colts don't have the luxury of being patient? What if that mandate from the owner is so loud, so absolute, that they feel like they have to shove all their chips in the middle right now? Well, that brings us to path number 2, the path of high risk and, just maybe, an even higher reward. This is the path that puts today way ahead of tomorrow.
And this, my friends, is the million-dollar question. This is the one that could blow up that whole draft the future philosophy. Can a second-round pick, no matter how gifted he is, no matter how insane his combine numbers are, really be the savior that this team needs right now? Can he be the one missing piece that takes them from being a good playoff team to a legitimate Super Bowl contender? To be honest, the history of the NFL says, probably not. The odds are stacked against it.
You know, the funny thing is, the Colts don't even have to look at other teams to see the risk. They have a perfect, and I mean painfully recent, cautionary tale living right there in their own locker room. JT Tuimoloau. This was a guy coming out of Ohio State with massive hype. A former 5-star recruit, everyone expected him to walk into the league and be an immediate, game-wrecking pass rusher. The Colts drafted him thinking he was that guy, but his rookie season was a very harsh, very public reality check. Just look at the numbers on this slide. They don't lie, and man, are they brutal. In his last year at Ohio State, JT Tuimoloau was an absolute monster, a one-man wrecking crew who lived in the opponent's backfield, racking up 12.5 sacks leading that defense. But then he gets to the NFL, and what happened? He became a ghost, a rotational player who ended his entire rookie season with 0 sacks. Let me say that again, 0. It is just a humbling, stark reminder that the jump from Saturday to Sunday is enormous, and even the most talented college players can get lost in the shuffle.
So the lesson here is painfully clear. Drafting rookie pass rushers, especially outside the first round, is like buying a lottery ticket. Yeah, you might hit the jackpot and get an instant star once in a blue moon, but way more often you're getting a project. A guy that's going to take a year, 2 years, maybe even 3 years to develop, if he ever develops at all. And when you're in a must-win season, with your job hanging by a thread, you just can't afford to bet your team's future on lottery odds.
So if the Colts want a sure thing, if they want a guaranteed impact player who can get after the quarterback from day one, they need to pick up the phone and look at the trade market. A guy like Josh Sweat from the Eagles or Jonathan Greenard from the Vikings, these guys would be a perfect fit. They are established, proven pass rushers in the prime of their careers. They would instantly and dramatically upgrade that defense. Now, it would be an expensive move, no doubt. It would probably cost them pick 47 and maybe more, but it would be a clear, unmistakable statement of intent. We are all in on winning the Super Bowl this year.
And that brings us here, to the climax of this whole dilemma. The Indianapolis Colts are standing at a massive fork in the road, with two very clear, very different paths laid out in front of them. One path leads to a potentially brighter, more sustainable future. The other path leads to a shot at immediate, electrifying glory. It is a choice that isn't just going to define their 2026 season, it's going to define their entire franchise for the next 5 years. Potential versus production.
This is the classic NFL dilemma, right? A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. Do you take the sure thing, the proven veteran who you know for a fact can help you win right now, even though it's going to cost you a ton in draft picks and salary? Or do you roll the dice on the unknown, the high-ceiling rookie who has the potential to be a superstar, but could just as easily be a bust? It's a high-stakes poker game. The pressure is on, and the Colts are about to push all their chips to the middle of the table. When you boil it all down, it comes down to this. The Colts have 2 clear options on the table. Option A, they invest in their future. They use pick 47 on a guy like Caleb Banks and build for long-term stability. Option B, they mortgage a piece of that future for a shot at glory right now, packaging that pick for a veteran. It's a decision that's going to send a massive ripple effect through that entire organization, from the guys in the locker room all the way up to the owner's box.
So, I'm going to throw it to you. What would you do if you were in Chris Ballard's shoes? If your job was on the line, if the owner was publicly demanding results, would you play it safe and build for the long haul? Or would you go for broke and try to win it all right now? Let us know what you think down in the comments below. We read every single one. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown and you want more deep dive NFL analysis, please do us a huge favor and like this video, subscribe to NFL Nexus, and make sure you ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. And one more thing, if you're looking for a great way to help support the channel, check out our amazing coloring books. They're perfect for kids, grandkids, hey, even for adults. You can find the link in the description or just scan the QR code that's on your screen right now. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.